Hi, my name is Heather Mackey. I'm the owner of Rare Bird Medicine. Today I wanted to talk about the sentence, All Lives Matter. Please feel free to play Lauryn Hill's Forgive Them, Father, for they know not what they do during this video, because that perfectly applies. I really try to give credit where credit is due and to honor my teachers and the ways they've imbued my consciousness, to awaken, to enliven my consciousness, to evolve it. As somebody who, actually I think I am every Black life that ever is, was, or will be. I'm every person of color that could ever exist. I'm every man, every woman, because life is not separate. But I constantly have to speak into this delusional system of separation because I had to do it for 45 years just to not sound like a raving lunatic. So speaking into this paradigm where we really pretend like separation is real, what I want to say is today I was doing laundry. I had my Black Lives Matter mask on, and I found a specific like New Mexico cuisine restaurant, and I'm always trying to check out my new neighborhood and the food. So I had ordered some tacos and went to go get them, and an elderly woman was in there, and she goes, "All lives matter," and I was like, "Oh, interesting. Okay, that's fun that you literally chose to engage with me, someone you're never going to engage with again. And you chose to begin from a place of correction with me. Interesting. But you know what? You do you, boo-boo. I'm not here to correct you. Let me not adopt your behavior." And I just said, I appreciate that statement. What I can tell you is that the amount of racism that a Black life can face from people in positions of power can be really frightening paradigm to live in. And this statement does not say only, and I say this to people all the time, it does not say only Black Lives Matter. It says Black Lives Matter. Period. Like, if that is so triggery to you, are you sure you're not racist? Are you sure? Because it's simply just acknowledging that they have value. So why is that so upsetting to you? Well, it's upsetting because your label isn't Black, and you're doing if this then that thinking. If Black lives matter and I'm white, maybe my life doesn't matter. Maybe this lady thinks my life doesn't matter. And that would be a correct assessment, because fundamentally everything's made out of 99.999% emptiness. So absolutely nothing matters. And the matter, as far as the other coin of the phrase or the term that we would use for the term matter, because I'm playing with words here, but as far as matter having value, everything in the universe has 7.8 billion consciousnesses assigning value to it. Like, I don't think the birds are like, this tree matters to me and I value that and I really don't value that cat. They're just intuitively and on a core primal level responding to life. But we have the consciousness and the capacity to assign value. So you have 7.8 billion people that are assigning value. That's valuable, that's not. That's valuable, that's not. So I would ask to begin with, if you hear a statement like Black Lives Matter, or if I were to say Black lives are valuable, it's another way to say that. They have value. Black lives have value. The statement doesn't say only. It is simply an acknowledgement that somebody that has a Black life, their life has value. And there is an aspect of history that people really tend to want to sweep things under the rug. But the fact is, due to the very just world that we actually live in, anything you try to sweep under the rug, it's going to come out, and we're going to evolve. And the nature of life is evolution. And so we're going to evolve. And when you have a history, and that history, so I want to just talk for a minute about white privilege, guilt, shame, and why that can be present. Because in order for us to heal on a topic, I always say, let's have a prismatic look. Let's look at this thing from multiple angles. Well, I'm going to talk about my white life for a second, okay? I have taken a keen look at white history. So I am German, Scotch, Irish, French, and Italian. I got a lot of stuff going on in this vessel. Actually, all the bloodlines, but we won't get into Heather's philosophies about unification right now. So what I can say with those bloodlines are, with my German bloodline, Nazi Germany happened. And the Caucasians in Germany felt compelled to destroy and annihilate gay lives, black lives, non-Aryan lives, anything that didn't fit in their paradigm. The same thing occurs in the States with the KKK, where people of color get lynched and murdered and dragged behind pickup trucks. Like, show me the article on the white person that happened to that was not gay. So this happens to the gay community as well. These hate crimes, hateful, full of hate. We have lots of Caucasians that'll talk about the immigrants coming into the country, but if you're a Caucasian and you live in America, you're an immigrant. These lands belong to natives. Natives are the inhabitants of the Americas. They are the ones that lived here. And we didn't like our situation in England, and we're like, let's just go over there and pick a new land. Oh, I guess we gotta let's murder all this stuff, and now it's mine. And so, okay, so your people came over 50 years ago or 100 years ago and were marauders and slaughtered a bunch of lives and handed out smallpox blankets and contributed to the slaughter of the buffalo to take away a resource of a native to the land. And it's your land now, and now other immigrants shouldn't come in. Like, it's important to think about, to not sweep history under the rug. If we're going to be educated and intelligent in the decisions we make about how we're going to hold any topic, it super helps to be open. It doesn't help much to be closed, because learning occurs in a receptive vessel. So it helps to just kind of open up and go like, what is it I'm not seeing about this topic? So we can't erase the fact that most serial killers are white. Children that shoot up schools, white. Nazi Germany, white. Killers of the natives, white. There is a dark stain on my white blood. There's not much for me to be proud of. And because of that, and because I am a compassionate person, because I am a unifier, because I don't believe in the delusion of this separation, I think I am actually all 7.8 billion people, I'd like to tell all of myselves out there that, you know, there is a need for the pendulum to swing. And when it's been at the glass ceiling of severe racism, it's not that long ago that people were being lynched for the color of their skin. It's not that long ago that people were enslaved and forced to pick cotton and not given education and being raped by the master of the house, and sometimes parts of their family being murdered if they enraged the racist homeowner. That's not that long ago. So if we're really going to be intelligent, responsible stewards of our history and the way things move, one of the things I need to do to help on this topic is to deal with my white guilt and my white shame. What a tragedy it is to be the bad guy. Not fun. Most two-leggeds prefer to root for the underdog. Got to tell you, white people are not the underdogs, because they commit some of the most sadistic, malicious crimes ever known to humanity. Being a serial killer, going in and killing and murdering, shooting down a bunch of students, pretty malicious, pretty dark, pretty demented. Nazi Germany. If you've read some of the in-depth reports on some of the things they did, some of the experiments they did with sacred, holy Jewish families, the things they did, disturbing. I mean, beyond disturbing. I can say, when you do something like what Nazi Germany did, or when you do something like the Americas did, where you kill the native people, take over the land, purchase humans as a commodity, and not give them education, not give them the right to money or funding, not give them any rights whatsoever, while you are gaining funding and gaining education, the natural response of that is there's got to be a point at which we go, hey guys, remember like 2 blinks ago when we were like being terrible stewards and non-humanitarians? And maybe or maybe not. Maybe that was or was not your ancestors. Maybe your ancestors lived in the North and they were fighting for the rights of others. But I'm just saying, whether it's connected to my bloodline in this life or not, it's connected to the history here. And I have to ask myself, who am I going to be in relationship to this history? Am I going to let my ego get triggered when I hear Black Lives Matter and go, hey, I'm not black and my life has value? Or am I going to just be able to receive and understand that I live in a system, I live in a paradigm where, because of all of that history, I have been given the opportunity to walk through life without great fear of recrimination because of the color of my skin? When you still have people that are judges or police officers or in positions of power and they're members of the KKK or they're super racist, it's really scary to be a person of color, to be an indigenous person, to be a black person and walk in this world. And you can say, this is what this lady said to me. She was like, there was a white man that was killed the other day, and you didn't see that blowing up in the news like George Floyd. And I thought, well, then how are you telling me the story? Like, I wasn't going to just sit and argue with a woman that clearly has low self-esteem and doesn't see her value and is using this as a means to fight for her value, which is fundamentally what's happening. Because yes, your life matters to you. Obviously it matters. But why? If you're not racist, and she was saying that, like, I'm not racist and I love all colors. Well, why, if you're not racist, does me saying, did you know that black people are valuable? Did you know that they're precious? I was just thinking that black lives are precious and they're valuable, and so are indigenous lives. And I just really want a KKK member to know if I pass by them that I started blowing bubbles on that one. I want anyone that I pass to know that, hey, they matter, and I know that they matter, and I know that their lives are valuable, and I know that there is a dark history, and I want you to know that I am sorry that my Black Lives Matter mask that I wear is my apology for my bloodline. Whether my people historically did anything or I independently did anything racist or oppressive ever, it doesn't matter. The fact is, I see your oppression, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry so many indigenous women are getting raped and murdered. I'm sorry that so many black people, when they drive a car, fear being murdered or taken to prison immediately when they get pulled over. I'm sorry that you feel, that it's harder to come out of that, really having abundance and prosperity and education, when your history, your grandparents were denied such a simple humanitarian grace. And I'm going to do my part to let you know that I'm grateful to have the pendulum swing. I love 2020 for this reason. Thank you, 2020. Thank you let's all shout it. Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. Let's start to really kind of say things that I could not have said 50 years ago. Let's shout it from a mountaintop. And then, how can I personally extend my privilege? How can I extend my privilege to other women? How can I extend my privilege to indigenous people? How can I extend my privilege to people of color and to black lives? Because of the history that has lessened their opportunities and given white lives more privilege. You have more privilege if you come to a land, slaughter everyone that is not your color, primarily, predominantly, destroy their resource, like all the buffalo that our government killed. And then you enslave black people, and then there is a history of oppression. And I'm really grateful and eager to contribute to the shifting of that pendulum away from that toxic, separatist, divisive, unloving, non-holy, not sacred way of being. And I will stand for it, and I will stand with it. And I don't have to have my ego triggered by such a simple statement like Black Lives Matter, Black lives are valuable. The sentence does not now and never has said only. All of life has the matter or the value that you give it. All of life. What are you valuing? What are you valuing? Are you valuing evolution? Are you valuing our growth? Are you valuing our bridge building? Are you valuing our union? Are you valuing our come together? And people say blue lives matter. Well, of course, lots of police are there to serve and protect. I don't think we should defund the police. I appreciate if I have a burglar, not having to solve that myself and being able to call the police. And there are some police that are really good stewards to serve and protect. So no, they're not all bad guys either. But we can take a stand that we expect our brethren to be loving and reverent about the value of lives with color. Blessed be.